another week here at Dire Consequence. Fun fact: I dropped the S for those of you who don't know. Talk about that probably never. Um,
There's now only one consequence.
there is only one consequence, and it's suffering. Um, we're here again with another episode of Orphaned Honor. And you know what? I haven't really been much into any of the in between. So someone tell me what happened last week.
I guess I'll do it again. Okay, anyway. So when we last left off, we were looking for Hatner in the 3-story apartment, and we started making our way down, where Quinn mentioned that there was a door on the ground floor we hadn't explored yet. We attempted to investigate the door for traps, and the crafty rascal almost gave me tetanus. So, that was fun. Just, don't meet any of those DCs. Anyway, so, fortunately passed the con save, opened the door, and found that it led to a sewer hatch. Core carries a ton of stuff on his person. One of those things being a crowbar, which we passed to Nero to muscle open the door, the hatch, the whatever, and it led to the sewer, where we found a rag down there that indicated that someone had been wiping their feet, traveling through. We decided not to pursue that lead because it was a very, we didn't really know where we would be going. So we decided that we were going to return back to our benefactors in the 1st District. We managed to get a wagon, where we found out that apparently word of Estella's exploits here were starting to spread among the cab drivers, which means wonderful things for Estella coming up.
Mm-hmm.
So,
whole new cab company.
Whole new cab company. So there was roleplay that happened there. Along the way, Core kind of lost in his own thoughts why other people kind of did things here. Lots of bantering. We've determined that our fallback plan is to open a food cart service here. Estella will become the queen of cuisine. This is what we will do. Chicken chips and all.
Mm-hmm.
We made our way to the 1st District, carrying that body, where we I can't remember what order of things, but I think we went to go try and find Pops first. Actually,
Quill first.
Yeah, we went to Quill first because we got rid of the body, which I decided to blow a charisma token on, and establish an identity of our stuffed friend, who was an acquaintance of Core, who went back to an incident from about maybe 2 years ago in his past. Not that anyone knows of that, but I'm sure this will start coming out of the closet soon. Core got into an argument with Quill. We decided to do a little bit more shopping. Estella bought a dominatrix whip with a flower aesthetic. She made the command word a League of Legends reference. Core bought a potion of Nighty Night, No Dreams for You. And then I believe we went to go try to find Pops. We could not find Pops. We assumed that he was out. We left him a letter in his mailbox, assuming he'd be back to it. Where we then proceeded to go back to the orphanage to check in with the kids to see if they knew anything about Hatner or where they could kind of find Hatner. It was kind of the only thing that we really had to go off of at this point. The rest of the party decided to go with that. Why Core had a bit of a breakdown away from the party, talking with one of the cloaks there, that he kind of related to, a halfling. Estella managed to get the information out of Patrice and her friend. I don't have anything open at the moment, so
Muriel.
Maria. Yep, sorry. I can only remember so many names. Muriel and Eustace. I've got the sphere thingy on my sheet. Great. All right. So we found out that apparently Hatner is holding up at a casino, or near one, and has been using the sewers beneath it here. And it is apparently littered with traps, meaning we're probably going to have to go back to that restaurant, go through the sewer, and kind of follow that to wherever this location is. But before that, Core made contact with a member of the basically the thief faction. I keep referring to them as the Filth because that's what Core keeps referring to them as.
Their old name.
Yeah, that's their old name. The Oath Takers.
Oh, Sworn.
Or Sword. Yeah, got it right here. So, needed to get a hold of them to inform them of the fate of this person because they're also part of that faction. That and Core is kind of freaking out about what the implications of this person's death might be. On top of that, even though Core denied, not really knowing them too well here, the death is clearly affecting him. We left off with, I guess, speaking with those kids. Core ran off to speak with Patrice and Muriel. And I remember something specifically about a storybook that Estella was supposed to read at the kids' request here, and what do you know, the kids picked a story purely based off the name of the picture on top of it. It basically was the equivalent of the Odyssey.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like the Phoenix and the Heart.
Reverse that, but yes.
The Heart of the Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
The Heart and the Phoenix.
Yes.
So that'll be great seeing Estella trying to memorize that at some point.
It's gonna be funnier with the kids trying to memorize it first.
Haha. Sure is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So this is as far as we got. I
Mm-hmm.
left roleplay text there for people to take a look at. The plot twist, no one took a look at it.
I'll take a look at it right now. Don't worry, buddy. I gotcha.
It's too late.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I got this.
Stick a knife in you, you're done.
I thought it was fork.
You know what?
We used to check
Don't-
doneness with things with forks anyway.
Don't count your chickens before they're under the bridge, alright? Okay, that is, the recap.
Yep. Yes, it is. And anyone have anything else to tack on? I really feel like Dawn just nails everything.
Yeah, Dawn's very thorough
Yeah.
when it comes to these.
I don't even read the thing that, Quinn bothers to write up, which I kind of feel a little bit bad about.
I do
Recount.
every week.
Oh.
And the written recaps will matter more later when you guys have higher inspiration point caps.
Mm-hmm.
Because reading recaps can earn you 4 points.
I'm monopolizing them early.
You get them done immediately after. I'm like, I'm going to bed, and Quinn's like, I got it out.
You guys could volunteer before the game. Yeah, before everyone leaves. Just saying. But that's for you guys to figure out.
I'm gonna have to lick the chat to claim it.
That doesn't stop everybody. But yeah. Again, I feel like that was pretty much everything. And we're kind of in this weird amorphous spot between meeting everyone back up inside the orphanage and having already left the orphanage. So I'm gonna kind of let you guys decide where you want to be in that weird timeline, and we're gonna go forward from there.
Add a character question.
Yes.
For the party. Do we want to meet Smiles? Because we didn't meet Smiles. He's there. He exists. We've
I'd
heard
like
things
to
about
meet
this.
Smiles.
You'd like to
He
meet
has a
Smiles?
pleasant name. I'm kind of scared to meet Smiles. His name is Smiles. That's never a good sign.
I feel like he's a clown.
There's nothing wrong with clowns, but still.
Speak for yourself.
If
Court
you
would
are
know.
so problems with clowns, I recommend watching the Big Top Burger miniseries on YouTube.
Not officially sponsored.
Not officially sponsored, no. I just really like where the kids work.
Yeah, I think we should go out and meet Smiles. I think we didn't meet them immediately because, you know, they were in the middle of training children.
Had a sword fight. All right. In which case, we'll kind of step you guys back inside the orphanage, with Rain leading you away from the small break room where you guys tend to meet up and talk, after having the various small conversations with Muriel and Patty. Heading out back into the main hall, and then exiting through the front door, where just as before, you'll see off to the side of the yard, there's about 6 slightly older children, all with training swords, being led through drills by Amethyst at this particular juncture, with Smiles kind of standing off to the side, just sort of observing. And true to his name, he is smiling as he's watching all of them, but it's not like, big creepy Joker smile. It's like he's really happy to see that these kids are taking to this well kind of smile.
That's nice.
Kind of like almost like a very pleased parental smile.
Mm-hmm.
Can you give a description of them again?
Yeah, sure. So Smiles, by all appearances, seems human. Kind of orangey bronze skin, like not overly, but a little bit tanned. Bright green eyes, red hair. They have a bit of a cloth headband that's kind of tying back the bangs currently. They wear a crimson red cloak, which seems to be kind of a standard thing. They have a set of leather armor, which at a glance you can very clearly see is etched in magical runes along certain edges of it. They have a very nice and finely crafted quiver along one hip, and along the belt just all sorts of pouches and gadgets and small bottles. And then on the hip, which was what he was using earlier, put simply, an angelic modeled long blade of some sort. Honestly looks like what you'd expect an adventurer to look like. And as always, wearing a bit of a what you suspect is a trademark smile.
I'm going to point this out before I do anything else, which
Mhm.
is, where is it? There he is.
Alright, so you guys step out the front and you just stare at him for a minute.
Yeah, Cora is just staring at him for like a moment.
Okay. Sure. Give me your 2 things that you want to compare and from against who.
I want to compare his Okay. First one is going to be level of spell slots.
Okay. Against?
Claire.
Superior.
Would not have expected that. Second. Intelligence score. Compared to myself.
Okay. Hang on.
course,
Let me go.
it's-
I have to go pull up his character sheet. Fun fact for those of you who might not be overly familiar, which is fair because none of you will be. Captain Smiles is the one-off character that I play alongside my wife's character in the one-on-one campaign I run.
Nice.
His intelligence is lower than yours. Cor. You a pretty smart boy.
Okay. Well, you know what? We got something.
At least I'm pretty sure you're a pretty smart boy. You have an 18, right?
I have a 16.
16. Okay, yeah. It's you were superior still.
Okay. I would love to have an 18 intelligence, but unfortunately, intelligence is generally a very bad stat to have if you don't have something that really directly pertains to it. I hate making it a dumb stat, though.
Knowledge is power in my game, man. Don't ever underestimate it.
That's why we have a 16 it.
Exactly.
Cora has a little bit of insight into this guy,
Mhm.
now at the very least. Would not have expected that.
Mm.
Alright. So, after a minute of just kind of watching him, Cora just, I guess, will approach.
Yeah, Rain very purposely just sort of will like gesture at him when you guys first get outside, and then just kind of lean up against the stoop. She's not doing introductions. She's kind of, if you want to meet him, you have to go do it.
Yep.
And when you approach, you see his eyes watching the kids, and then they will kind of, when you're about halfway there, snap over to you. I was beginning to wonder when you were going to come introduce yourselves. One can only be stared at for so long before they think a problem's about to arise.
Sorry, I was wondering if your face was stuck like that or not.
You know, it's funny. You're not the first person to have said that to me.
I figured. But, I mean, sometimes with going for the low-hanging fruit.
Well, jokes aside, I'm sure you've at least probably heard my name before. I'm Captain Smiles, the leader of the adjutants. I've been hearing about the things you've been doing, so, I mean, kudos to you. It's a special kind of person to go out of their way. There's not too many people in the city that'll do that.
Your people have been a great help so far.
Starting
Well,
a lot of talking up of you.
Well, you know, they tend to do that. But yeah, if my people can be of any further assistance to you, just ask. And if they can't do it, I'm sure they'll pass it up the chain to find someone who can. And if you find any other kids, send them here. We've got space. Pops has already brought us several other kids, and they're staying with us for the time being.
Considering what we're dealing with, this might be the only place that'd actually be safe.
Well, you'd be surprised. A lot of the other places that take in kids in the 2nd District are pretty well protected. They might not have the kind of manpower we do, but they do make sure that certain buildings are warded away from, entities that would prey on children.
Did you do the wardings yourself, or was that,
No, that's my second in command. Nobody. He's very much the exact opposite of me. Not very sociable, doesn't smile, and if his name didn't give you any clue, he's very not fond of people speaking to him or remembering him at all.
Huh.
But despite all that, he's incredibly smart and very gifted with magic. So he's good to have.
I was just wondering, you seem like you got a few talents of your own.
Oh, well, I mean, I wasn't downplaying my own abilities, just merely talking his up. No, I'm very capable. I'm a talented swordsman and archer, along with, well, I wouldn't really call myself a practitioner of magical arts, given it's a bit of non-traditional means, but I have my ways.
Cora actually looks at him very skeptically when he starts downplaying it. Kind of like he doesn't buy that at all. I mean, you say so.
Well, is there anything I can do for you personally? Stopping by to talk to me. Might as well offer.
I thought maybe we'd get ourselves actually introduced. Your people have been pretty good to us, mostly. But yeah, Core, this is Yelena, Habanero, Stella. I guess I'm speaking for people. I don't know.
You are, but it's okay. Continue.
Yeah.
Please, you know how to hold yourself together. She jokes.
Give me a day. Core just like looks at you very like.
She just smiles.
I was wondering about something actually. What's the best way to kill a hag?
Well, that is a very interesting question, but I suppose one that's very relevant to you right now, isn't it? Huh. Well, honestly, hags are very difficult creatures to kill. They're very powerful despite their appearances. They tend to be resistant against magic. And if they're in a group, their danger amplifies greatly. If I had any suggestions, I would say if you could lure them into a place of anti-magic so they couldn't cast spells, and then ambush them, so that way you don't drag out the fight. Because the more time they're given, the more opportunity they will have to find a plan to either beat you or escape. I suppose the only other thing that's worth mentioning is that they can slip in and out of the ethereal plane. So even if you do manage to get them on the ropes, if you can't keep them there, they can usually escape pretty easily.
So what? They're like ghost?
More or less, and depending upon what kind of hag it is, there's some variance in those abilities. Some of them it's only temporary. Others, they can happily live in Scath and not bat an eye at it.
Night.
Oh, yeah. If they escape you, they can stay gone for a good long time, and then come back when they've regained their strength. Night hags. Those are very nasty. They have, so they actually have one glaring weakness, which is in their habits. Night hags have a tendency to haunt people in their dreams, especially those that they don't like. Those that they're attempting to kill, more particular. But that's also an opening. If you can find the person that they're going to haunt, with a little bit of magical aid, you can actually pull them out of Scath into this plane of existence and, as I mentioned before, ambush them. It's very rare that they have that happen to them, so I doubt they'd be expecting.
Like, fight them in a dream?
No, the opposite. Pull them out of the dream into the real world.
You know, I was actually just talking about this, and Star seemed to be completely lost when I suggested it.
she's not the magical expert, should probably speak to Quill. Or, again, I'd suggest nobody, but you never know where he is. He tends to wear someone else's face most of the time.
Do they tend to fixate on a single person until they've killed them?
Generally, yes. Especially if that person's causing them problems.
Let me
Astilla's eyes grow wide.
Corlick's a little concerned.
Have any of you been haunted lately?
I was visited. And yeah, another night ago. I wasn't sure if it was important, but I guess now that it's we're being given more information. I guess now's a good time.
Well, I mean, he takes a moment and like looks you up and down, gets a little bit closer, kind of like inspects your face a bit. You don't look like the hag has really gotten their claws into you yet. You still look like you're resting well. No bags under the eyes.
Yes, strangely enough, I feel when she did visit me, I felt fully rested.
Now that's unusual.
In what sense?
Hags tend to really not leave their victims feeling well.
I got another question. It's a little out there. It goes against every fiber of my being to ask it at that too.
Try me.
I was talking with Pops, or we were talking with Pops, and Pops threw out a piece of advice about how killing can make things worse in the long run, because when you take the life of someone, no matter how bad they are, the ripples, they go far. And he's preaching to the choir, or at least he's preaching to me. Even then, I guess I don't kind of fully agree with it, but even still, these are hags. Do you think this is something that applies to them?
And without much hesitation, and meeting your eyes, he just answers very bluntly. Hags that prey on children don't deserve mercy.
Alright.
I'm usually not the one to say this, but I think I agree wholeheartedly here.
I'm just being cautious, that's all. I just don't want to kill an evil, bring about an even greater one. But that being said, look, I already got a lot on my mind, and I don't want to get any advice mixed up here. I want to follow my gut, but lately I don't know if that's been working. Even still, these people, and I guess my intuition is what I've got to work with. Sorry to, you know. attempt to frown, I guess.
Takes a lot more than that to make me frown. Don't call me Smiles for no reason.
Estella smiles at that. And
all I
she
got.
says, do you think that the hag might, I don't know, visit again? Even though, I don't know, like, she's left me be.
Given you guys are in direct opposition of them, she might not revisit you, because, well, it doesn't look like she really did much to you. But she might revisit she might come back and visit one of your friends. Gonna try to take her chances at seeing if she can remove one or two of you before you guys get any closer. And if there's more than one of them, then, well, you can expect multiple every night. It's gonna start getting dangerous very quickly. Just another reason why the hags need to be killed. Otherwise, they're gonna take you out before they take the kids.
And you
That makes
said that it could be possible for us to pull them out of the dream, yes?
Yeah, with enough preparation, and someone strong enough.
I think
How do you define
this is
strong?
Find someone who can, what's a good way to put this? Find someone who can bare arm wrestle a horse to the ground. If they can do that, then they can take down a hag.
I guess you're talking about physically pulling someone out of the dream.
That is part of it. You basically arm them with the ability to pull them from Scath to the home plane, and then they physically actually have to grapple the hag through the rift that they tear open.
Me and Hobbit have some experience with Scath. And I am decently strong, I'd like to think. He is! Look at those muscles!
Well, at least it looks like you have the parts you need. I'd probably, if you want to go with that plan, go back and speak to Quell and mention it. He'll be able to prepare some of the ingredients you'll need to make the grab. But after that, it's just a matter of whether or not Narrow can actually muscle the hag out.
I can try my best.
Well,
and that's assuming the hag even goes to him, correct?
well, not necessarily. Scath is a plane that lies very close on top of this one. And if you have the ability to see into it, you can very easily see all the creatures walking around on it. I don't advise it on a day-to-day basis because it's kind of horrific. But if you can see when the hag is going to make an attempt on someone, and then you can grab her.
I guess it's a comfort knowing that they're going to try to go to us before they try to do anything further at the very least. Means we might have a little bit more time than we thought. And that being said, I gotta go talk with someone. I gotta deliver some bad news to someone.
That's never pleasant. But someone's got to. My last piece of advice to you, if I might.
Sure.
If you don't want these hags to visit you at night, either a protection from good or evil spell will stop them from being able to visit you, or sleeping on consecrated ground. And I mean actually consecrated ground. Either one that has been dedicated by someone or a temple. Or, and he just points back, and he points back to the orphanage, or someplace like this.
Let me ask something. You a man of faith?
Now? Yeah. You can say that. If you believe it, I've met my fair share of gods.
Who's your sponsor?
My day-to-day work and what the adjutants stand for. Halir. This sounds way more lofty than I've ever intended it to, but we're agents of justice. We try to fix the wrongs of the world when we can.
Corpse is very quiet.
More recently, and this is more of a personal awakening, if you will, and take it what you will. I can't go into greater detail. But Ilke has recently been guiding a lot of my actions. And he gets a little quiet, like thinking. You'd be surprised that gods themselves are just as lost and confused as we are. It's oftentimes the reason why they need individuals, well, such as myself, to act on their behalf. It's not because they can't, it's just merely because they don't know
So you're telling me the consort's been consorting with you, right?
how. Not in so many words.
I don't know. I struggle with it, and I don't like thinking about it.
Well, religion's not for everyone. Worship isn't for everyone. Just don't deny the fact that they exist and have an influence on this world. That is a grave mistake.
It's dumb to say it doesn't exist, but I don't know. It's not something I'd like going into, but I was wondering. You're a little bit different than what I expected.
I'm all about subverting expectations.
You know, the look of somebody who lived a very exciting life and didn't really know how to settle down properly.
Lived, I think he's still living it, Yelena.
Mostly right. When I was young, very, very young, my first memories were of running around in the back alley streets of Gelliot, picking through trash for food. I grew up and survived on these streets.
Star said you were the one who dragged her out of the gutter.
Mm-hmm. As I did with most of the other adjutants. At some point or another. I watched through childlike eyes many, many terrible things happen all around me. And at first I accepted them. I was too young, I was too weak. I didn't know how to change anything. Then after a point, I got really tired of seeing it unfold. And so the first step I took was taking a man's life. I was 6. But that man was harming a little girl in an alleyway. And when that man lied there dying, we walked away. And now that little girl is one of the best bounty hunters in the city. You speak to any of the other adjutants, they'll all give you a similar story. I didn't grow up with all of them. They've all come from a place where they've seen evil done. And they grew tired of watching it happen. And now they're trying to fix it.
It ain't always that simple.
Fixing it is never simple. And it usually requires a lot of hard choices. Never lie to yourself and say it can't be done.
Did it come back on you? When you when you stuffed that man?
No. But that is to say other rash decisions I made when I was younger didn't. I've lost family.
How old are you?
He stops things. Well, I suppose this is my 28th winter. Even that sounds too long. I'll be honest with you, it kind of became a blur for a bit. I suppose I'm a little younger than that.
I think I'm 23.
He stops and like actually chews on his lip. I actually think I'm closer to 26.
Might be younger. I might have room to grow yet. I don't know.
It's always been a number that's never mattered a whole lot to me.
I'm not gonna pretend to know just how that dice roll went with everything. But I get it. I'm not like you. I haven't figured out how to pull myself out of really anything. I don't even really know what I'm doing still. A few years ago, I thought about leaving this place. I stayed. Don't know why I stayed. Well, no, that's a lie. But everything always comes back in some way. I'm jealous.
Of what exactly?
Where you are, what you got.
Required a great deal of suffering. And the deaths of many friends. But those are the exact same reasons why I've gone on my way to do this. Otherwise, all of that would be for nothing. And that's not a good enough answer.
Do you... Gonna roll something.
Mm-hmm.
I never understood why there aren't enough people out there who care about what goes on outside the walls. I got business in the 2nd district, and I got a lot of baggage with those, with the church folk. I never really felt that they did. They never really did enough. I don't know if I can really go into it. I don't really know if I want to go into it. But did you ever just feel forgotten? Even though you knew that there were people out there who were trying. Like, they just didn't see you.
When I was younger, almost every day. The feeling is less so now.
I still feel that way. I'm still really angry about it. I don't know how to deal with it.
Therein lies your truth. When you can figure out what to do with your anger, you'll know what the next steps to take are.
Maybe that's what this stupid thing around my neck wants from me, I guess. Yeah, okay, there, Dyer.
Yep, no, fine. Everything's okay.
Core stares
Nope.
directly into the camera. It's the opening from Ed, Ed, and Eddie. Double D!
Everything's fine.
Core just says that, kind of muttering it, and sighs. I don't want to waste too much time, but I'm already going to be late as it is.
Hmm?
Unless, I mean, I guess they'll forgive me. I'm not going to be the first time I'd be late to something. Are you all ready to go, or, awfully quiet? It's freaking me out a little bit.
Be rude to interrupt your heart-to-heart with smiles.
There's going to be a lot of heart-to-hearts in a moment. Get your words in while you can. Because the next conversation's not going to be very pretty. And then if we go to the 2nd district, they're going to be even worse. I'm sure Haba and Nero are used to it, probably going to say a lot of mean things. Not going to be to you, though.
Well, don't let me hold you up anymore. You have things to do, and so do I.
Alright, well, I think we're done here. Sorry to just, I don't know, unload like that, but I think I'd like to talk to you again.
Well, I'm not always around. But if you happen to stumble across me, I'm more than open to have the conversation. Same goes for any of you. you're not feeling particularly chatty in a group, you're always more than welcome to try to kind of find me on your own. I tend to have a bit of an open door policy, even though I'm kind of not always here. You have friends
so an
here.
Open door policy when available.
Yeah. I wouldn't say it was a perfect system.
Or you can just go into his room even if he's not here.
True as well. Although, perhaps the connotations behind that are a little uncouth. Not that I'm saying I would mind. Anyway.
I guess that explains your affiliation with Lover. Anyway. Core just at that point
What?
turns around and just waves and says, I'll see you around.
Just remember, watch where you sleep. And you
Try
guys
not to
will
sleep around.
make your way out of the front yard of the orphanage and begin heading down the street. Presumably to go meet with the contact. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's the next thing.
You know the way I assume, Core?
Yeah, I know how to get there. It's pretty lucky that it was on the way.
Okay.
I'm really not looking forward to this. Why did I buy a card? What is this even going to do?
Hmm.
I spent a silver piece on this. Guess it looks kind of pretty.
Whatever helps you sleep at night.
It doesn't.
Do you write anything in it?
No. What am I supposed to write? Sorry that you got it and turned into a scarecrow monster, I guess.
I mean, saying something from your heart would be better than just letting them read whatever description's on the card. At least it shows that you put some thought into it.
I don't even know who I'm giving this to.
Then why did you...
I thought I'd need it. It's what I do with everything. It's why I have a crowbar.
Why do you...
He's saying it.
You know what?
He's a kleptomaniac.
I'm not a kleptomaniac. Kleptomaniac would mean I steal things. I'm resourceful.
You're sorry. You mean hoarder? Yes, that's what I meant. Sorry.
I'm gonna take the hammer out of my backpack in a second. I'm gonna kneecap you.
You have
Which one of
a
us?
hammer... Wait, how big is this hammer? Probably not very big, right?
Child-sized.
Yeah, that's... Why am I not... You know, I shouldn't have been surprised, and yet here we are.
So you admit?
I have used almost everything in my backpack over the course of the last day. So you can call me a kleptomaniac, you can call me a hoarder all you want. Everything I have with me is useful.
Hey,
I'm not
everything in my bag is
I'm just
useful
pointing it
too. She pulls out a bag of chicken chips. I get hungry a lot.
Whatever.
You want some?
No, I don't want anything.
Okay. Sheesh.
No, you know what I want? I want an apology.
Or?
Calling me a kleptomaniac. I got a little bit more decency than that.
Turn your attention to those two.
We corrected ourselves. To be fair, I meant hoarder. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I used the wrong word at first.
I'm not a hoarder either.
Okay. I think that's
Meticulous.
the best you're gonna get out of him. I'm sorry for him, Cora.
Well, you know what? At some point, your brother needs to figure out how people work. He's got to work on his people skills.
I've been telling him that. He's not too keen on it, if I'm being honest.
Well, what is he going to do when he's... You know what? I'm talking about him like he's not even in the room. You know what?
I
We'll
am
deal with
right
this
here.
later. Hi. Man, you need to figure yourself out.
I've got myself figured out. So, I mean, I'm pretty simple, you know. There's not a lot to me.
I mean, it's kind of snickering at that comment from Core.
Estella's just thinking to herself, man, he sounds hungry, as she keeps chomping on her food.
You know, I was going to say some really, really nice things before, but now I don't really feel like doing it now.
That's understandable.
Core just like sticks his nose up as he's just walking.
Estella offers some to Yelena. Got nothing.
Take a couple.
She just shakes her head like, I don't know what's going on.
I guess we move forward to meeting with the contact.
Okay.
this?
I've very thoroughly enjoyed this, so you all know. You know what? I've enjoyed all this so much. If you have space for it, you can take another inspiration point. All of it.
Ooh!
Oh, nice.
I
Nice.
don't have space for it. Ah!
Oh, that's
Oh,
a
wait.
shame.
Because unlike other people, I actually do the stuff I'm asked to do.
Oof.
Come right from
Wow, that's freaking hurtful.
the
Yeah, you threw it the day before.
You know, I did say they were non-mandatory.
I need to get better about doing them.
Reach.
No judgment. No
Take-
judgment.
You need to figure it yourself out, says the halfling that really needs to figure
Figure himself
themselves
out.
True. Holy cow.
and just had a fully public discussion about having to figure themselves out.
With a complete
Look.
stranger.
Look, I am not the character, so
Literally, when Core said that, Estella just gave intensive eye emoji towards him. She was like, excuse me? Like, and then she was like, you know what? Not my problem, moving on.
Projecting a little there.
don't judge my baby boy.
Too late for that.
Yeah. Oh, that was good.
Okay. I think we got it out of our system. We good? We good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
For the record, I've enjoyed this. Thank you. So the destination was the drop off, right?
Yeah, we have a store that we went to for this. The Pack Mule and Go.
Yep. Yep. All right. You traverse the streets, having this conversation as you go, perhaps a little bit too loudly in public, getting a couple of eyes from people. Eventually, you end up back outside the small establishment of the Pack Mule and Go. The door is still propped open, inviting inside, except this time, when you arrive, you can tell there's still the gnomish gentleman behind the counter, but there's another individual in the back, and it looks like they're currently working on some paperwork for a shipping piece, but they are hooded, and they wear a set of light blue-gray leather armor, which Core, is stock standard for Oathsworn.
Core just begins making his way into the back.
The gnome just kind of gives you a nod, doesn't say anything more. You get to the back, And it takes you a moment, but you when you get closer, you begin to recognize the stature. And when you kind of get just within, earshot, the individual turns and you see underneath the hood, the long orangish brown hair and tan-colored skin of Candace.
It's been a while, sweet.
Oh, you can certainly say that again. Again, I wonder if you had just up and left.
Not yet. We
Oh.
gotta talk.
I'm going to assume this isn't pleasant business then, huh?
No.
Do you want to go someplace private, or would you rather go get a drink?
We could talk here.
All right, good enough. And she just kind of looks over to the gnomish gentleman, and she kind of nods, and then you hear him hop down and walk to the front of the store. The rest of you, do you come inside, or do you core? Do you tell them to wait outside?
Core gestures for them, and he says, "These people, they're with me."
In which case, those of you that want to, you can go inside the establishment.
Yelena will step in.
Otherwise,
Priscilla will also step in.
that leaves Habanero. In or out?
Do we still have the dogs with us?
Yes.
Yes.
You know what? They're gonna stay outside to watch the dogs because I need to start paying attention to what I'm doing with these things, and I can't just
Yeah, one's got a. One's currently chewing on a shirt that's picked up from somewhere. You have no idea where. And it's got a bunch of large holes ripped into it, like they were fighting over it at one point.
There's not any blood on that shirt, is there?
That's the $1 million question. You know what? Make an investigation check
Oh,
before we get into the serious thing. Let's see where this has come from. Well, the good news is, you spend a little bit of time in between the two of you. Look over the shirt. No blood on the shirt. No blood on the shirt.
Okay.
Yet.
Yeah.
It's just a t-shirt advertising a wrestling company. Anyway.
I can't wait to see John Cena.
The gnomish gentleman will come up to the front of the store after some of you have stepped in, and he'll close the door, and then you'll see him just flip the sign on it that says "out to lunch," and then he promptly walks to the back of the back of the small store where there's a door, and goes through it and shuts it behind him. Well, all right. So, what's the long face for?
It's about Tiger.
Go on.
He's dead.
Oh, you didn't sugarcoat that one bit. Big oaf.
Night
Wondering
hag.
where he went.
It was a night hag.
Tell me there are night hags in the city?
Yeah.
I haven't seen or heard anything about him.
Well, this is what I've gotten myself involved in. And I'll tell you, you did not want to see what they did to him.
She tenses up, and then kind of through gritted teeth just goes, "What did they do?"
Turned him into a scarecrow thing. Using him to abduct children. Some type of nightmare. Jeez. I didn't even recognize him until all the parts were on the table. I'm sorry. I need to know. I need to know what business he got himself involved in. that did this here. Because, look, this is bad. Because it's not just one, it might be a coven. They're here, and this is getting pretty deep. There's some type of spellcaster connected to this, and they're not just targeting normal kids, they're targeting ones that people aren't going to worry about just up and disappearing, and each of the ones that are being targeted, they got some type of talent with them. Now, I don't know if they're trying to make more hags, or this is some type of ritual here for who knows what, or where this is going, or where this is spiraling. But Pops is the one who was worried about them, and we're only on the second day. And look, I need to know if you were alive.
Yeah, I'm fine. And listen, he wasn't involved in anything that was unusual. Business as just business as normal. He was tasked with watching a couple of incoming trade merchants, trying to smuggle in some magical goods that we were going to swipe.
Where was this going on? When was the last time you saw him?
He was put on the mission a week ago. When he left, he was supposed to check in, well, I guess yesterday. He just didn't. It was unusual. Sometimes these things happen. We just assumed give him another day or so and he'd pop up like he always does.
We found him in the 6th district.
Doesn't
There was a
surprise me.
spell book in the room too.
Could have been from the shipment of goods that he was watching.
Core begins describing it.
Doesn't ring any bells to me. I can ask to see if one of the managers knows anything about it. Any more specifics from what they were supposed to take. It's just that the job to do the swiping wasn't supposed to be pitched until he was back. We needed to have the intelligence before we made any moves. Weird if he took anything ahead of time, unless he saw a good opportunity.
Well, like I said, it was a spell book, and that means that the only other person who could have taken it is either one of these purple-skinned freaks, or the 14-year-old who has been jury-rigging trap after trap after trap that would give either you or I a run for our money. Let me introduce these two at the very least.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to be rude.
Yeah, no, you went straight into the serious stuff. I suppose we should actually show some manners.
I mean, they've been in my company for 2 days. They know that I kind of lack those. I guess at least a little bit. Of course, Quiet just lets them introduce each other.
I'm Yelena.
And I am Estella. Pleased to meet you.
The woman will lower her hood. You will see, as I mentioned before, tan skin, orange-brown hair. It's quite long. It's currently tied back to a braid. Brown eyes, and she just looks at you with kind of, it's now clearly after Core's just dump of information. Her demeanor's a little bit on the sadder side, but she looks up and she meets both of your eyes and she nods and smiles. It's nice to meet you. Candace, you can call me Candy if you like, he does.
Candy's sweet, whatever.
Depends on the day, really. You both must be something special if you're managing to tag along with this little asshole for this long.
Bite me.
No, I'm the sweet one, remember? You'd be too bitter.
We're just trying to save these kids.
Can you believe that the two idiots got themselves involved with this too?
I can believe it.
I can't. I'm sitting here worrying about them. The one who has all the personality of a brick wall can at least hold his own, but I'm worried about the naive one.
Meanwhile, they're out just here, just fucking playing with the dogs.
Yeah, it's just like you cut away to just the window on the front of the store to just Haba and Nero playing with these two huge mastiffs. One of which, in that moment, takes down Haba.
If you're talking about Haba and Nero, I think they've been handling themselves just fine in the fights we've gotten in. Except for maybe when Nero jumped out that window. Almost looked like he broke his leg.
They're made of tougher stuff.
Look, I still worry, Elena. I've seen how you two go, but I've never really seen them do anything really outside of cooking. And I feel kind of bad.
I doubt that Pops would have called them if he didn't think they could handle it.
I don't know what their deal is. I do think there might be something. I don't really know. I just
think they know
Whatever.
what their deal is. Or I think they're, like you, are still trying to figure it out.
So, that's what I came to do. We have a lead. I can give you a description of the kids if you wanna cast them out.
Give me everything you've got. I didn't know this was happening, and maybe someone above me does. The best I can do is take everything you can give me, and I can give it to someone above me, and hopefully we can start doing something to help. Kids being taken is just as bad for us as it is for them. At that kind of comment, I'll take a history check from anybody who's interested, and maybe learning a little bit more about the O-Sword.
Sure.
Oh, that makes sense.
That's pretty good. The DC was a 15.
I will be. Oh. Wait. I can do it.
You can do it.
Okay.
Everyone can do it, apparently.
I did it.
All right. So the O-Sword, a group of thieves, that have more or less aligned themselves to a very Robin Hood-esque style of thievery. They claim that they do all of their robbing and thieving in the name of Halir, like God of Justice. And all of the riches they acquire, they filter back out into the slums outside the city. And they use the wealth they acquire to try to right a lot of the wrongs of the city. But it's enormous, and it's very hard to fix everything at once. But they try. But they're also very strict. But the important detail for that particular comment that Candace just made is more aligning to the fact that frequently they will take kids off the street and offer to house them and feed them and care for them, and in turn train them to become the next generation of O-Sword. and it's been very successful ever since they've come into the city. Their numbers originally started out as less than a dozen, and then over the course of the last 2 decades, where the mistress, their leader, has taken root here, they've grown to the number of hundreds. And predominantly, most of them are people that they've taken off the streets. So they have a vested interest as well. If kids are being stolen off the streets, that they just as much want to stop.
I think with that check being made, now's a good time to say, like, I guess Core will just spew exposition here pertaining to, like, what they've encountered so far. But I think he's going to linger a little bit more on the strawman.
And that's what Dardal was. That's what he was turned into. One of these strawmen. They just walk around in plain sight.
Uh-huh. I had half a mind to tell you to burn your finger before we started talking.
Very, very abruptly and with zero hesitation, draws a dagger from underneath a cloak and just slices open the tip of her finger.
Oh, they bleed. That's not going to prove anything here. They don't like fire.
Quickly sucks on her finger. Stops bleeding. Presses the finger and thumb together. Can any of you produce fire?
I got a new toy. Oh. Cora looks over to Yelena.
And then, like, just snaps her finger and ball of fire in her hand.
And again, Candace, just stone cold, will hold a bare palm over top of the fire and then slowly lower it to get closer. And then after the point where you're pretty confident she's now going to start burning your skin, pulls it away, and it just shows a couple of the blisters that are forming on her palm now.
Oh,
We
no,
good?
We lost them.
We lost whom?
Ah,
Oh.
there you go. Cora says... Did I say fire?
All right, listen here, you little prick.
Let me see if I can get this stupid thing working. Cora reaches for the necklace. Oh boy. So Core tries to cast Cure Wounds out of it. Does he
does
meet the
not.
DC?
No.
When this fails, Core actually looks like Core actually has an outburst. He just grips this thing and slams it against his hand, and he just says, because I know that Candace has all the context behind this here. This is a sick joke!
Or get a hold of yourself.
Car just like looks at her. He is just scowling, gripping it until his his knuckle is just bone white.
Stay focused. You can distract yourself all you want later. An important thing that you're telling me. Yet another person to mourn. I'd like to do something about it.
I'm not gonna do something about it. Do something about it this time. But it'd be useful if this thing could actually work for once. I gotta go to the 2nd district after this. Maybe we're gonna go there. Gotta lead. I don't want to talk to these people.
You want me to tag along?
I don't know. I don't want to. I guess I've already pulled you away from the crap that you're doing.
And I can just ship this back down below after I've written all the information on.
Look, I've already pulled you away. You don't need anything done. Do you need the shipment taken care of?
That time. I can make time. And besides, if there are more of these strawmen walking around wearing faces of people that we know, there are a lot of other Osorn that are going to make sure that doesn't happen. I guarantee you, in a week's time, there won't be a single person wearing another individual's face walking around on the streets. Very least, hopefully that'll cripple what they're doing.
I hope that this doesn't come back on us.
I've never pissed off a hag before, so I guess we're gonna find out.
They won't be able to retaliate if they're all dead.
See? I like the way she thinks.
It's got a pretty can-do attitude.
Maybe now's the time to give her that card you bought.
You can eyebrow raise at that.
Yeah, why'd you have to go measure the card? Yeah, so, I guess me being very direct about the entire thing makes this a little bit silly to do, but I didn't really know how to handle this. He just passes her the card that just says, "I'm sorry for your loss." And there's just like the word like at the bottom that like is just signed core, and it's a nice looking card. And it's just like he just like wrote "I guess" like in the corner, and no one else has signed it, and he just passes her this, and he just like is a little red in the face. It just extends it. Do I give this to you? Do you give it to someone? Did he have a mother? Grandmother?
No. Just us. We were his family. Really? Condolences card?
I was in a store.
And it actually looks like you spent a lot of money on it.
I spent a silver.
You're out of your mind.
I just found out he was dead a minute after.
You could have fed a
They
family for a
identified him
day
in the-
for that.
In the back room. I thought it would be a nice gesture, okay?
Well, I'm sure someone will appreciate it. It's a little too
Yeah,
glittery
yes.
for my taste.
Star did. Because she's the one who profited off of it. It probably took like a quarter of the time to make this. Who made this anyway? He like looks at it. This is some stock crap. What's the name of the company that made this card?
Paul Bark.
I'm adding it to my sheet.
That was so quick.
You can thank my dog for just having entered the room for that one.
What the hell is a hallmark?
This is a very spry gnome, man.
Yeah, I know I could have like fed like a room full of people with that, but oh my, I had to pick up the ashes.
That would probably be a much nicer gesture than this. She just
He's
kinda
still
holds it
cooking!
hard.
He's still cooking, okay?
Probably not what she wants to hear, Core.
Even a modicum of respect for the dead. Small amount.
Is that a joke at my expense?
No, it
Small
wasn't,
amount from the small man.
but it is now.
I believe this conversation is going in circles at this point.
Yeah, mostly.
You're a goddamn jawbreaker, you know that. Anyway.
By the way, he has a new one of those every time we talk. Never gets it. It's about as thoughtful as the card. So, do you want my assistance today or not?
Sure. I don't
Fine.
need to make enemies with the Mother's Clergy because I decided to run my mouth about Claire.
Well, you're probably going to anyway, regardless of my presence.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you want to not embarrass yourself in front of the new friends you've made. But then again, I feel like you've probably already done it more than once. So, you know what, I retract that statement.
Being embarrassed requires a degree of dignity.
And you're right, you don't have much of that left.
I don't.
Matter of fact, I think the last bit you probably trailed in here off the bottom of your shoe.
You know what? No, the last bit I did was when I dressed up like a little girl and got into a bed to lure out the straw man.
I'm
Put that
sorry.
detail out for you.
Oh, that's going in the letter to the family for sure.
You want the dress? I got it.
No, I'm good. You can keep the dress. I'm sure it'll come in handy later.
I'm sure it will, because the hag saw me in it.
Yeah.
Isn't that what I actually look like?
You're right. It's a good point. You should dress like a little girl more often.
You like that?
No.
I don't know.
Not at all.
Anyway, let's go make sure that habanero haven't rolled into the middle of the street and gotten run over by a cart or something.
Yeah. Go check on the twins. I'm just gonna finish up writing this.
I'll let you get acquainted with Queen in Blue. Or
Yep. Just go outside, please.
Sure.
Much more awkward can you possibly make this?
Don't ask. Careful what you wish for.
Wasn't a challenge. Ding 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 ding.
Cora just walks out. Cora just goes out and there's just... I'm not gonna make the joke.
Habanero covered in paw prints now. But Candace takes a couple of more minutes to finish writing up. It's this long, scrawling piece of parchment. When she's done, she rolls it up and seals it with a wax stamp, and then leaves it on the counter, drumming her knuckles on it 3 times. And the gnomish gentleman comes back out from the back with his glasses and his hat. Walks on up a set of very small stairs you can see behind the counter. Yes, good. I'll send this right away. Thank you. If you have any other services, feel free to stop by again. And, Candace just sort of turns and looks at both of you. All right, I think we can go. Probably. If we leave Cora alone too long, he'll become more volatile. And let's be honest, he doesn't need that.
So what exactly is Cora's issue with the second district?
It's way too much to explain. The short version is he had a friend that he cared a lot about, and something terrible happened and she died. He puts a lot of blame on them. I'm sure he'll spill more of his guts out when we get there because, well, he tends to have that's a really nice way of saying temper tantrums. No, I'm just gonna stick with that. He tends to have a lot of temper tantrums when confronted with his issues in the past.
I have picked up on a little bit, but it's neither here nor there. She'll just kind of make her way out.
Door opens up and the three ladies come out. Are we going straight there, or you have any other stops between now and there to make?
Quill said it would take like several hours for the ashes, right?
Yep.
It hasn't been that long yet.
Nope.
I think it's just straight there.
Hey, we walking, or we're gonna catch a carriage?
I look at Estella.
Carriage lady. For some reason, I'm going to take a weird shot in the dark and say both Greg and Sam are indisposed for some reason.
I think now might be a good time to take a 10-minute or 5-minute break.
I agree. So we're gonna try to come back. Like 5 minutes, 5-minute break, or if we need the 10-minute break, 10-minute break, but like 20 past ish.
Looks like Greg is having a hoot and a holler right now.
Yeah. So we're gonna come back at like 20 past ish, something like that.
I'll be right back.
We'll take that break. As soon as I can edit this file. Back in a minute.
I am back.
I'm back. Wahaha.
Welcome back.
I hope you're enjoying me being a complete and utter fool. I mean, I do this on a regular basis anyway, so. I've taken care of my dogs, and I have some soda bread now.
Wouldn't the soda make the bread soggy?
It does, that's why I like it. Do you not like soggy bread?
No, soggy bread is the worst.
Does eating it hurt you? Tell me. I must know. Oh.
Booga booga booga.
This is core all session.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry about that. I got to listen to Xander's telling me to go fuck myself. He says fuck you now, and it is both hilarious, but at the same time, just you should have heard him yesterday. It was Sam can attest to it. Like, it's like we're like, oh yeah, this is for the time, and then he just yelled "fuck you" at somebody. I was like, oh.
Oh my goodness. I don't know. I'm pretty sure the stream is still going, Greg.
I'm sorry. Oh no. Oh
It's
no.
okay. I'm the only viewer.
Really? You're the only one?
Yeah.
Uh,
I just have it on in the background to keep viewership.
Thank goodness.
oh yeah, I burst into
At
like
this
a
moment.
bit of manic laughter when you like typed out "I'm sorry."
So,
I was going to make the joke about like how like yeah, Core goes out there and he just finds like Haba and Nero just in the middle of having just like a massive just
God.
stream of just doo doo.
No. I was dying. I tried. I couldn't wait any longer. I had to go.
I assume Sam is with
Babu, yes.
I am here.
Hello. Dyer has not returned. Where did they come from? Where did they go?
Something Cotton Eye Joe.
That's really good.
Ah, I found them.
I'm so late. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. No, dude, you're good.
Hello?
Yes, but dude, are you good?
Now, yes. I waited as long as I could. I'm so sorry.
No. Like
I
low
had to-
key, you're free to ask for breaks if anyone ever needs to.
Okay.
And secondly, yeah, don't ever force
Okay.
yourself in situations. Yeah, man, just like do it.
Yeah.
Like I mean, like go somewhere and then do it, but don't do it at the desk.
Yeah. Yes.
I had to do that yesterday, but just because I'm the DM doesn't mean I'm the only one that's allowed to do that. If you guys find yourself that you've been sipping on too much water over the course of a game, and suddenly you have to pee really badly, and you didn't notice it, and you go, okay,
Yeah.
excuse me, I have to excuse myself. That's fine. Cool.
Yeah. Okay.
It was just suddenly like half of the players were all very silent. I was like, something must be going on.
I'm sorry. Mhm.
All good. we were just exiting outside the small shipping company of the Pack Mule and Go.
Yep.
Everyone having come together, Candace tagging along for the duration to offer her thievery expertise.
Let's be honest, the only reason she's coming along is because she has the child leash.
I mean, we weren't trying to say it out loud, but yeah. Not wrong. And we were trying to decide whether or not if we were to hoof it or catch a carriage. It is the second district, but you know, it's every district is still city size, so it's about an hour's walk to the second district. Or via carriage, it's like 20 minutes.
Be a
I
look at the
think it all
carriage,
depends
Queen.
on how much of a rush we're in.
You are so quiet. I cannot hear anything you're saying, Sam.
Well, I heard her make reference to how much of a rush the party is in. But yes, you were also a bit on the quiet side.
Can you hear me? Am I still quiet?
I hear you now.
Yeah, I can hear you better. You do sound like your mic quality has changed today. I don't know if you're in a different setting or not, but you sound a bit muffled, just like mild.
Yeah, I have an internet where I'm at. It's really bad.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
So it just keeps changing on me.
Word.
But yeah, I was just saying it just depends on how urgently we need to get to where we get to, because I don't mind just walking either.
I think it depends. But what time of day is it right now?
It's just before noon, like a half a bell away from noon.
And Hatner's little, like, secret place. Which district was that again? It was the casino one, right?
Yeah, so 9.
9.
The opposite direction that you're heading in, if you're going to the second.
Honestly, I think we should just pay for Express. Like, just pay for Express every time. I'm not too worried about money.
Yeah, I think if we want to get to, you know, going to the 9th district before we sleep tonight, it's probably best if we just cut every corner we can.
Okay, so sounds like a
I
carriage
have
it
no
is.
complaints. Yeah, carriage works. I have no complaints.
Okay.
But the express carriages aren't that expensive, so.
Well, let's see if Estella can manage to hail one that has been in on the secret deal. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. See if you can get that discount again. Otherwise, it is
No.
it is still 5 gold a head per district. Or it's no, that's way too expensive. What did I say it was before? Someone's got that number right now. It was 2 silver a head per district. It's supposed to be 5 silver a head per district. There we go. That's what it was.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I'm like, 5 gold didn't sound right. It was 5 gold total last time.
Sure. How many people we have?
With Candace in tow, 6. 8 if you include both of the dogs.
We'll include both the dogs, so that's what, 4 gold pieces?
Yes.
All right. I'll take it out of the money we found. Subtracted.
Spending Hatner's life savings on our carriage fees.
You know what? If it's his life savings, I'll just give him the money that we found, or the money for out of my own bank account. It's just what I have on my person.
Although if he spends half as much money on trap making equipment as he does on anything else, I feel like he has different priorities on how to spend his money anyway.
He's got the best priorities.
Just straight Home Alone people.
He's gonna grow up to become Jigsaw.
You gotta feel safe in your own home.
Absolutely.
I mean, you're right. Okay. So an express carriage is hailed, one of the Pegasus Flight Carriage Company. There's really no hobnobbing about. The fee is paid. Everybody is loaded on, including the dogs, because they're still with you, and will be forever until you do something about them. And
Go drop them off at the house.
you are
Apartment.
whisked away to the 2nd district. The time it takes you to get there is much shorter than is reasonable, as in it would take you an hour to walk there. With this carriage, it takes you, as I mentioned before, about 20 minutes. And you are offloaded into an area that is referred to by the locals as the Heartland, which is the dead center of the 2nd district that is due to the way the buildings were arranged in the shape of a large heart.
Well, Core, you're the one that's telling us to go here. Where exactly are we going?
Cor pulls out their lead, which is that small chain link. I'll just post the description here. Cor will show Candace it.
Aha. Very good. Well, I mean, it's not a huge lead. Most of the orphans that are housed here have those to identify them. I guess we just go to the nearest orphanage and ask if they have any missing kids.
Yeah, I think that might be the best way to start. It's something.
Well, if you want to do the talking, or should I?
We'll see how it goes. If I feel it. Look, I'm gonna do my best not to have an outburst, okay?
Yeah, I've heard that before. But,
I
you know,
mean it.
effort's what counts.
Cor, just... We're in the center, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you're in the center of the 2nd district, with surrounded by several large buildings, the most predominant of which is a modest but clearly well-ornamented temple dedicated to the mother.
Oh, I'm sure Corb's familiar enough with that building.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we'll start there, then ask for directions.
Okay. It is a 2-story building, with the front entrance being led up to by a huge flight of steps that are about 200 feet across. The front entrance is marked by marble pillars, and you can see that there is a small line off to one side that's formed going up to the front. Where you can see there are various members of the clergy that are tending to individuals. And you can see little flashes and pops of magic that look like healing spells and the like, where they're just tending to people that have come to them with needs. Much like the 1st district, this district is likewise filled with pairs of peacekeepers that are keeping watch over everything, along with those here at the temple. So every third or fourth marble pillar, there's a pair of peacekeepers that are just kind of standing vigil over everything and making sure everything's fine.
Does it look like there's anything here that doesn't look like it belongs?
Make a perception check.
Sure.
If anyone's looking for anything weird, you're more than welcome to make a. Because who knows, something might be weird. That's pretty sharp, Core. But those chicken chips are real good.
Yeah, they are.
It's basically Core just going, real serious, what's going on here? And just in the background, crunch. Munch. Crunch.
Just, it's dead quiet, and all you hear is the loudest crunch possible.
Yeah, the crinkle of a chip bag.
It's like, oh, sorry, I didn't realize you were. Continue.
Core, really nothing about this place seems to stand out as weird to you. But the lineup of people in need seems to be much longer than usual. You don't frequent here very often anymore. But when you did, this was not unusual, but this queue goes down the steps and just kind of wraps around repeatedly in front of the building. There's like a couple hundred people here, and that's far more than the average morning. So that's about that's the only thing that stands out.
What are these people predominantly dressed like?
They look like lower class citizens. People likely that live outside the walls.
I think Core just looks. He looks like his blood is probably boiling, just maybe a little bit. Because it's an indicator that, you know, kind of what he's feeling is kind of being confirmed, or at least maybe there's like some type of confirmation bias here. But he bites his tongue. But he goes to try to find someone here he can speak to. Preferably about making it look like, preferably without line cutting if he can avoid it.
Well, do you want to speak to a clergy member or do you want to speak to a peacekeeper? Those are basically your two best options.
Clergy member.
Okay. So you can just walk up the steps. The queue over there is specifically for those that are looking for aid. Otherwise, you can enter into the building for worship at any point. So if you ascend the very high flight of stairs, landing on the marble platform where a pair of peacekeepers will kind of respectfully nod and acknowledge the group of you walking in. And their eyes linger a little bit longer than normal on Candace, who is very much doting the uniform of the Osword. There's no doubt about who she works for. And once you get up to the entrance of the building, you see that there are two members of the clergy that is sort of at the entrance, just sort of waiting to greet people as they come in. They're dressed in the standard white, gold, and light pink robes of the mother. One is a slightly taller than average half-elf with pale skin, blonde hair, and blue eyes. The other one is a dwarf, a male dwarf with a red and black beard that is very well kept and trimmed, and it's got 3 braids worked into it with little silver heart medallions in it, and he's dressed likewise similar. And they're both just kind of standing there waiting for people to enter and to welcome them, of which both of them will sort of like regard each other and then regard the group of you as you reach up to the top of the platform. Welcome to the Temple of the Mother. Are you here for worship or aid?
I had a few questions.
We will do our best to answer them. How may we offer our assistance?
we were wondering if you could direct us to some of the orphanages around here.
Very well. One of the largest ones is here on in the Heartland, and they'll sort of step forward from just where you came from, and then gesture to across the center part of this huge heart-shaped courtyard, and you'll see a very wide, flat building. It's humongous. It takes up basically that whole side of the heart. That is the foremost orphanage that houses and cares for many of the children that we oversee here. And then beyond that, if you follow either of the roads to the left and right, many more buildings established to their care continue to spiral further beyond that point. But if you have any more specific questions, I can go fetch the Minister of Orphan Affairs if you prefer.
I'd be a good person to talk to.
Very well, please wait here for a moment,
How long
and
is it
I
gonna
will
be?
fetch them. I am uncertain. I do not know if they are currently engaged or not. I will return as soon as I can with information.
Tell them it's really important.
I will relay that. And they offer you a 1/4 bow, and then turn, and with a bit of pep to their step, go inside the temple.
Why they leave, Core turns to the other. What's happening with these lines?
Well, anyone that has any ailments or maladies, they're more than free to come to the temple at any time, and we will tend to them. We've been seeing quite a few more people in the last few weeks. There appears to be a sickness spreading around outside the walls.
Quite a few more? You're kidding me, right? There's gotta be at least over 100 people here. The line's wrapping around the building.
Yes.
Sickness, you said, right?
Aye.
What kind?
From what we've seen, there have been markers of hacking coughs, transitioning into coughing blood. Likewise, the later stages, and unfortunately at the point where we cannot save them, bleeding from the eyes. It seems to go largely unnoticed. Many are just sort of see it as a small cold at first. But as the longer it's neglected, it tends to grow quite vicious. And before many of them are aware or can even come inside the city for aid, or are found by any of our clergy workers outside the walls, many have succumbed to it. Oh boy.
Core just says... Well, why aren't there more people out there then?
In the last few weeks, after the sickness became known to us, Arya has sent out significantly more clerics to try to stem the tide of the sickness. We have even enlisted help from those of the Temple of the Dawnfather in the First District as well to lend as much aid as possible. It does not seem to be any greater aid in stemming the sickness as we've observed, and he just gestures to the line.
So he says that they're collaborating, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cora just kind of like quietly looks toward him and then looks towards the line, and he's just sort of quietly contemplating. He looks a little angry, but I don't think he's going to push that matter too much here, because it's giving him maybe a little fuel for thought.
Okay. Oh, after a minute or two, you will observe the half-elven woman exit again. And again, with a 1/4 bow, greet you. If you would please follow me, Cosdius will see you now. And they turn on heel and very briskly walk back into the temple.
Does anything seem off-putting about these two?
You can make an insight check.
Okay. Let's do it. Sure, I'll blow inspiration.
18's pretty good. Well, I mean, so the half elf, they have like some weird, the way that they carry themselves is a little weird. They seem a bit stiff. The dwarf, seems, upon further inspection, even as you sort of just like begin following and sort of just cast a side eye at him, you can see while he is smiling and doing his best to appear warm, it is very clear that underneath he's a bit tired.
So he just seems really exhausted.
Yeah.
Cora's gonna look towards him and he's going to say, I hope you're able to get a little rest at some point. Must be working you to the bone.
Your sentiments are appreciated. It's been tiring these last few weeks.
What's your name?
Ah, you can call me Bron.
Okay. I didn't catch your name.
The elf that is in process of walking away from you.
Yeah. Cora goes to follow them. Try to get their name.
Yeah, more than like halfway through the walk as you're led into the temple, and immediately cut right into a small, what looks like a small alcove, but leads into a hallway. They'll just have a moment where they speak over their shoulder. You may call me Peleus.
You feeling okay?
As well as one can be, given the current circumstances and struggles that we are facing.
Scrutinizing them. Oh, I know what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, why not? So, have I been looking at them long enough for this?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I'm sure you might be guessing this based off how suspicious Cora's gonna go, but can I choose the straw man?
Tuffy. But yeah, you've interacted with them enough. You've got a good feel for them.
I want to go off of strength and intelligence.
Okay. And you're going full conspiracy theorist.
Yeah, Cora is paranoid.
Okay, which one do you want to start with? Because you had enough time
Let's
to
go with-
observe both.
Let's go with intelligence.
For which of the two NPCs?
Peleus.
Okay. Peleus, their intelligence is superior.
Okay. And I'm also gonna use int for the other one as well.
Okay.
I think that's probably a good basis for it.
Okay. The straw man's intelligence is superior.
For the dwarf.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. um. That raises a question. Okay.
I just realized I was muted.
Hmm.
So we're all chilling, right? Like together while this is happening.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are all together. You're currently being escorted into this large temple.
Okay. And so she overhears one of the dwarves like he's not been sleeping well, right?
Yep.
She was going to ask him if there was a reason as to why he hasn't been sleeping well.
Make a persuasion check.
Sure. Persuasion button, go.
Boop.
Oh my god. I don't know why that went twice.
A little overeager on that persuasion button.
Apparently.
Fortunately, that first one is not as good as the second one.
No, not at all.
You ask him, and again, he gives you this very polite smile. He just kind of shakes his head. I'd really not rather talk.
Can she press her luck on that? Try to see if
You
she
could
can
make a
still-
second one at disadvantage.
Sure. Can I use my point of inspiration to normalize it?
So what you would do is you would roll at disadvantage, take the lower of the two, and if you didn't like the result, then spend a point and roll a third dice.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that then.
Okay, so 15. And if you don't like that, then you'd roll a third one, and then it's between the 15 and whatever you roll.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that. Fuck.
No, you get the 20. You get the 20.
Oh, I get the 20. Then I'll
Yeah,
take the
so that's good. That's good.
Okay.
Yeah, you have a moment where you kind of, he looks very like standoffish about it, just like not really wanting to recount what his problem is. But then
Which is fair.
you press a bit and you seem a bit more earnest with him. And he just kind of sighs very heavily. I wasn't trying to talk about it too much, but I've been having quite a bit of nightmares lately. And hampering my ability to sleep well. And just with all of the work that we've been doing lately to try to stem the sickness that started in the slums, this is taking its toll.
Oh. Can you tell me a little bit about the dreams?
He starts to look at you a bit more. It's like, really? You're really starting to make me uncomfortable. I'd rather not go into it while I'm currently on duty. Just that they've been largely unpleasant. A lot of familiar faces that have been hurt or tortured. And there's always this big shadowy thing that looms over the whole landscape. It's very like there's a great impending doom coming. I wake up in a cold sweat, you know, joints aching, body exhausted.
I see. Sorry for asking so much about it. Thank you. She looks over to Yelena.
Yelena's kind of frowning.
Estelle is also frowning. She's giving Yelena the look like, I think, hag business.
Yeah, Yelena pauses for a moment, kind of eyeing this dwarf before she speaks up in Dwarvish. I'd suggest that you talked about these nightmares to one of the clergy. We've heard there might be night hags in the city.
His eyes widen a bit. And then just very, very quietly just nods.
I'm just gonna leave it at that and walk away.
Yeah, that that was the investigating Estella wanted to do, so she's gonna probably tell, you know, whenever she gets a chance to quietly keep it between the group, she'll tell Core, Hama, and Nero as well. If they weren't listening, that is. But I'm assuming they were listening.
I like to imagine you guys sort of were trailing behind a little bit as Core was chasing after Peleus.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then you guys are all going, oh, wait, hang on, we gotta catch up now. And you do, like, the fast walk.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Cora's tiny legs.
I can't believe that you're throwing me underneath the bus. You know what? That's fine. The bus can just go right over me.
You're small enough, it won't hit you.
But it'll hit you.
20 of Core's steps is like 2 of Estella's steps.
Oof. She says you're
Big
stubborn.
girl.
She is big girl.
So, you're brought into this temple, dip down to this small alcove where there's a long hallway that extends along the side. This hallway on either side is decorated, well, rather filled with 8 doors, 4 on either side, sort of slowly offset from one another. And you are led to the second door on the right, where the half-elf will stop, turn. Notice that Core is like the only one directly behind them, and then Haba and Nero, and then Yelena and Estella, and Candace, who has purposely been bringing up the farthest part of the rear as possible. We'll stop and then knock on the door. You'll hear a muffled voice give some sort of affirmation from the other side, and they'll open the door and allow you in. The interior of the room, it's quite small. It's about 10 by 10. There's a single plain wooden desk with a small bookshelf in the corner that's only about 6 feet tall. It is filled with books. There are 2 plain wooden chairs in front of the desk, and a small little standing table off to the side where you can tell there's actually like a partially eaten meal resting on it. However, all this is in contrast to the somewhat larger individual that is sitting behind the desk. You see before you a almost perfectly white-skinned Goliath. They're about 8 feet tall. Their features for a Goliath are a bit more on the slim side. But nonetheless, still very well built. They are dressed in the similar robes that you saw both Peleus and Braun wearing, except they have a breastplate on covering their chest. They sit there, and when they come up, they look up with these unusually yellow eyes. They have a completely shaved head, but they have a series of tattoos that run from the front all the way down to the back of their neck. And they will stand up, really showing off how tall they are, and then gesture for you to come in with one long-fingered hand. Please, if you would, come in. My understanding is you would like to speak to me.
Yeah, I got that right.
Well, you're all ushered in. It's a little cramped for all 6 of you. But nonetheless, you make do. He offers with a wave of his large hand to either of the 2 chairs for anyone that would like to sit. And once anyone has done so, they will then sit back in their own seat. So, how might I be of assistance to you today?
We're investigating some missing children.
Most terrible ordeal. Have they gone missing from this district?
We think so.
Do you happen to have any details or names? They quickly turn around and grab a book off of the shelf and flip it open.
All I got to go off of this is this. Cora shows him this.
And they put out a hand to see to take it from you, if they can.
Cora's gonna insight him.
Okay, go for it.
Pretty good.
They seem interested in acquiring the necklace for a reason that seems what's the right way to describe this? I almost said yearning, but that feels like the wrong word still. They wish to see the necklace because they have a greater purpose other than just to see it. And you would know because after Candace's insight onto the fact that all of the orphans here wear these, that obviously they would know what it looks like. So there's obviously a greater purpose behind wanting to see it.
But beyond these surface reasons, Cora's kind of looking for like any behavior here that might seem a little bit odd, or just in general looking out for something here that would be very just strange for an individual like this, maybe even like odd body language.
Okay.
Cora is looking at him in a very scrutinizing, suspicious just way.
Mm-hmm.
That clearly tells, like, at a glance, that this 2'9" halfling does not trust the 8 tall Goliath.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'll let it stand for a section of this conversation and give you information as necessary.
Sure, no problem.
Because right now, there's not a whole ton to read other than the furniture seems slightly too small for him, so that seems a little uncomfortable. They clearly have a slight hunch to their back, and you suspect that's probably due to working far too much at a desk. And their genuine expression of concern seems very real to you when you've brought up missing children.
Sure. Cora's going to bring up the next part, which is probably where this insight's really going to come into play.
Okay.
And he's going to say, we think a hag coven's involved.
Just like with Braun at the front, there is a widening of the eyes and a open mouth frown. It's seems like very genuine surprise and likewise obvious sadness. Because hags carry with them implications.
Okay, so like the reaction seems to be pretty genuine.
So far.
Okay.
This is all terrible news to receive. We have not been made aware of this problem, as a lot of the efforts have been delegated to trying to cure the malady currently spreading out through outside the walls.
Cora's quiet on that.
Delina looks at like the open hand and just kind of nudges Cora's chair.
And it's still not moving.
He begins to slowly move the necklace over to him. And he
Thank you.
says that I heard that they're collaborating with other people to try to take care of this. This doesn't seem like it's a normal outbreak, does it?
Well, it isn't the section that I oversee personally, but my personal opinion on the matter is no. It does not seem to be particularly normal. The sickness seems very resilient to normal healing arts that most of our clerics have access to. Once it's matured past a certain stage, it requires a greater deal of divine magic to actually be able to cure it.
Oh, I think the other thing that I want to do with this insight,
Mm-hmm.
Cora's not making an effort to hide the necklace around his neck, probably because he just kind of absentmindedly, forgot to do something like that or
Sure.
that. So I'm not sure if I think the other thing is he's like looking to see if he actually recognizes that or not.
Right. Well, at first he doesn't seem to.
Okay.
And after you've handed over the small bracelet, he begins inspecting it. With just one of his long fingers, he turns it over on the backside and begins tracing along the edges. And you see, for a brief moment, as you see his eyes flash a bright goldish, light gold color. And then on the back side of it, you will see that writing begins to reveal itself. Okay, and he sets it down on the desk and picks up his quill and he begins writing the information on the back of the bracelet. I'm sorry. Did you mention where you found this?
No, I didn't.
Can you inform me?
Sure. We found it, trying to find the name of the place.
It's the 6th district, right?
Yeah, we did, but there was a name of the, Yeah, okay, there we go. Of course, going to say, we found it a few blocks away from the Careful Crow Tavern in the 6th district. At night. But I mentioned hags.
Yes, you have.
It was in an alleyway. I think they dropped it.
Do you believe the hag was in possession of this?
Otherwise, it's pretty convenient that it was there.
That is troubling news, then.
That flash in your eyes and the writing, I assume all of these pendants are unique so that you know which ones belong to which children?
That is correct.
Who did this belong to?
This belonged to Aaron. Hirveler. They were quite young. They were turning 10 next week.
It's not one of the names of the children we knew were missing.
So it means there could be many more children unaccounted for other than the ones you're looking for. This is dire news indeed. I will have to send out word to make sure everyone is as accounted for as possible.
What orphanage were they out of?
They were located down on the 22nd Boulevard. At the Stars Hope Orphanage.
"22nd Boulevard, Stars Hope."
Yes.
Can you tell us anything about Aaron?
Well, I do my best to try to get to know all of the kids that I oversee, but as you can imagine, we care for several thousand. It's difficult to make personal ties with all of them. But Aaron was very bright for his age. Came from an abusive home. His father ended up killing his mother. When he was taken away and jailed, he came into our possession. He has a bit of a talent for drawing and working with clay. I think everyone sort of expected him to grow up to become an architect. Honestly, it's just a good kid come from a bad place. Just needed a chance to grow up past all the points in his life where the hard things would grow easier.
Do any of you guys have questions?
Please, I'm as ready to answer any questions you might have if it aids in finding any of these lost children.
You have a description of him in case we do come across him?
Yes, of course. He has short black hair, typically is parted down the middle. Very average skin tone, normal height for his age. But the one thing that is probably the most notable is that I mentioned the abusive father. He unfortunately did not avoid all of it. He has a scar on just below his chin, on his neck. It's about 4 inches long in the shape of a crescent. It's pretty easy to spot. I suppose that would be the best thing to look for. Otherwise, I can't guarantee what he would have been dressed in. But most of the standard garments that we provide for the children here are all carry the same symbol, and you'll turn the bracelet back over and gesture to the heart with the slash through it. All bear the same symbol as this. So at the very least, if he is wearing anything from of ours, that will be easy to spot.
May I ask a question? A bit private?
Necessary?
Has anyone talked to you about them having strange dreams lately?
And dice roll. Well, for better or worse, you are responsible for the care of several thousand children. Many of them are quite young and have come from bad situations. It is not uncommon for them to suffer from nightmares. But I have, in recent times, noticed a bit of an increase of reports of children suffering from night terrors.
And how recent would you say those started? Like 2 days? Weeks?
My best recollection is about 2 months ago.
Thank you.
What was your name?
You can call me Casdius. Brother Casdius.
Have you noticed any, I guess, strange behavior among the clergy?
No,
Any,
nothing that stands out.
just, I don't know. I guess. I mean, you guys don't do sick days, do you? Like day absences.
We are all allowed a certain time away from our work to allow for personal interests. But none of them are overly extensive. Many return to their work in short order.
Okay. Cora looks like he's just kind of contemplating. Quietly thinking.
After a moment, he'll just kind of like put the bracelet between you and him. Not sure if he should keep it or return it to you. But in the interim, he basically never stops writing. Occasionally changing over pages.
If you don't mind, I think we'll hang on to the bracelet if it helps us. It's something.
By all means, you're more than welcome to keep it. If you have a need to access the information on the back, it typically requires someone with divine magic to interact with it. Something as simple as a cantrip will reveal the information.
Is there anything showing right now?
No, it is since faded.
Core. Sure, why not? Let's test it. Core's gonna try to cast light.
Okay. Religion check, please. On a scale of 1 to 10, how frustrated is Core right now?
Let's see how close we are to that tipping point. 8, but he's doing a really good job of not showing it.
On a scale of 1 to 10, he's an 8? Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty bottled up.
Okay.
Core's got a lot of baggage pertaining to this, and he's just biting down on it and seeing the fact that there's like, oh yeah, there's a plague going on out there. Can't do anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, the suspicion that, because we haven't had the conversation yet, Core thinks that maybe the dwarf is a straw man. He's not sure. This is what he's speculating on. And this guy's like, here's the information here. I can provide a description and not much more than that. Here's an address. There's not a whole lot to go off of this here. And if this amounts to it just being, there's more children that are missing here. Have we wasted our time just learning that there are more victims? Because then, is that something that we're subtracting the time from? Core is frustrated. I would
That's
say
fair.
he's an 8.
In which case, the light does not take.
Core tries it again.
Another religion check. It's like sparking a lighter that just won't start.
Core will try it a third time. He just keeps
Same.
saying the word over and over and over.
Candace, for the first time since entering the office, will just sort of come up and put a hand on your shoulder. Just give it a rest for now. You can't force it.
I think Core makes a scene. I think actually this is the thing that causes Core to like to actually just start fucking crying
Here we go.
right here and now. I
And-
think the waterworks will start happening here, and he just kind of grabs onto this necklace here, and he just looks defeated. There's no explanation. There are no words. He just starts sobbing.
Cosdius has a moment where, as it's unfolding, he just sort of looks between everyone else in the room, waiting to see if, like, if this had been foreseeable, is someone going to act on it.
Yelita's just looking at Candace.
Who gives both a hardened but sympathetic look of, this can't be fixed.
Core gives it another try.
Okay.
I think Core just, based on that 21 here, he just says the word as firmly and as hard as he can, pronounces it as clear as day, and just kind of grips it very firmly. And I think right now he just wants this to work more so than anything else. I think maybe this is the only thing that really matters in this moment to him. The frustration is there, but it's just been kind of, it's just being replaced by just grief.
And for a moment, the light flashes, and you slowly watch as the information on the back of the bracelet begins to reveal itself.
I think that we should probably be making our leave.
Or perhaps you can stay and speak of this crisis of faith that your compatriot is suffering from.
That
What does
completely
it want
depends.
from me? I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
What?
She's dead. She just left me. Just like that. And this is all I got. Your people, they came. They came after everything happened. They took the body. Nobody stayed. Nobody stayed to help. Just left us high and dry in the slums. That Laird, Quill, she told me that this thing, it wanted me to realize something.
What have you come to realize?
I don't know, it told me that, like, she's still there. She's haunting me, I don't know what to do about it.
I personally am not an expert in paranormal happenings of the undead. Unfortunately, not the right temple to be at for that. But in all of my learning, I have heard that ghosts tend to be stuck because they have something that they have wished so greatly to see through that they can only pass on after they've done so. You are being haunted. It is because the person that is haunting you wants something with you to be seen through with.
I'm gonna roll a d2. Core, for a moment, his eyes actually turned to Haba and Nero. And Core has just this look of, just for a moment, there's great anger.
What? Why are you angry at us about this?
I don't know. I don't know. I shouldn't. It's my fault. Look. That day. That's the day it happened.
Oh.
You let me stay. And I stayed too long.
There's no such thing as staying too long.
Yeah, there is. I should have been there.
What's happened has happened.
No,
Or-
I guess what happens happens.
You can't keep beating yourself up about this, Core.
Her head rolled right at my feet. Last thing I remember seeing just were those eyes, and then that arrow. And then I don't remember much. Why doesn't this thing work?
I don't really have an answer for you. I guess the same thing I can ask because of that day. You hungry right now?
I don't want food.
Sounds to me like you're trying to force something that can't be forced. I don't know anything about spirits and lingering souls, but it sounds like you cared about this person a great deal. They probably cared about you. Do you think that maybe they're watching over you, trying to make sure that eventually you can move on?
I never got to tell her how I felt.
Well, if you're so confident that she's haunting you, why don't you just say it? And be honest. With yourself and with her.
I don't think I can. This is stupid. We got something we need to do. I guess it won't matter too much. I'll be dead by the end of all this anyway. That's just...
That's it then? You're just going to keep deflecting and talking about how nothing matters because everything is shit?
I mean, you've signed it yourself.
All I'm saying is you've been doing a lot of that, and nothing's changed. Maybe it's time to try something new.
Core just kind of hugs the necklace. You meant so much to me. I didn't want to disappoint you. I'm sorry. Maybe there's something to this. Maybe I Maybe I'm too hard on myself. I don't know. I just want to find these kids. That's what you would have wanted.
And don't disappoint her, Cor.
I don't know if I am or not. And really, I don't think I don't know if I'm gonna know or not. All I can do is try, I guess.
That's all you need to do. Just keep trying.
Cor's quiet. He looks at the necklace, wiping his eyes. I stayed because I wanted to get back at them so badly. I didn't really care what kind of became of me. I just went through the motions. It's I don't know. I guess I just need a sign of some kind.
Take it from a man who has lived a relatively long life of faith. The times you most desperately want a sign are the times that they're usually the most hard to notice. Perhaps take the company you keep as the sign. There's support in what you are doing. You're not alone in your endeavor. Or in your grief.
Can you all do me a favor?
What's that?
Stop staring at me like I've ripped my pants.
Okay.
Why don't we head
Nero
out and
starts
get
looking
some
the other way.
fresh air?
That sounds like a great idea. You would, beg our pardon. I think this is, where we take our leave.
Thank you for your help. We'll try to get these kids back.
Please do. I will inquire much more intensely about our charges and see if there's any obvious signs of something that we can follow.
If you're looking for more detailed information, we've been working with the adjutants.
Very well. I will place some inquiries to see if we can share information.
Nina's gonna start making her way out.
You will open the door. You will find the hallway empty. But getting back to where you came from isn't that difficult of a task. Cosdius will see you all outside of the office. And right before he closes the door, he just has a moment of... And regardless of how you feel about my faith or anyone else's, Hart Smith has a saying, which is, love always finds a way. I hope you find yours. And then very quietly closes the door. Quietly, you guys will make your way back to the front of the temple. Stepping back out onto the grand steps that lead down into the center part of this district, overlooking all of these large but relatively utilitarian buildings.
Do we want to make our way to the 8th district? Ninth district, thank you.
If you ever tell anyone that I cried like that, I will find you in the middle of the night. I will cut your throat.
You'd have to beat the hag to it first.
What did she say? I like a little competition. Sure. Let's go to the 9th district.
Let's get a regular carriage. Kind of looks around at everyone. I think some of us could use a little bit of extra time to rest.
I like being singled out.
Yeah, no, I'll go get the carriage. Just everyone awkwardly wait here. Don't worry.
It's what we do best.
Candace politely excuses herself, trots down the stairs.
Can't wait for you to abandon me. Core just stares at everyone else expectantly at this point.
Hey.
After a few minutes, Candace will return with a carriage. She's literally just hanging onto the side as it pulls up in front of the temple. She'll give a wave, and then drop off and step up over to the door where she just opens and climbs inside.
I'm not going to ask you anything that you don't want to talk about yourself.
Speak your mind.
I think I already did in that room.
I think Core just looks at the necklace. He doesn't say anything. But I think P looks specifically at the cure bead. And I think he's just going to very gently, because I don't think he can find the words for it. I think he just kisses the cure bead.
Okay.
And he wraps the necklace around his neck. And just kind of looks at Yelena, doesn't say anything, and then gets on the carriage.
Elena will kind of look towards the others, letting them get on first if they want to.
I make the bold assumption that everyone will get onto the carriage. And once enclosed, Candace will knock against the wall of the driver, and you'll feel the carriage lurch. And this ride will be paid courtesy of the Osthorn, so don't you worry about that.
It's appreciated.
They didn't make any ridiculous promises in order to cut the fare in half, did you?
No. Just paid the fee. Like I work for an underground network of thieves that make large sums of money every day. Don't really have a reason to negotiate costs with carriage drivers.
Copper for your thoughts, Queen.
She looks more
She's
like a
dead.
gold girl to me.
She's dead.
The baby has eaten her.
Wow. I mean, some
horrific
babies
real-
do that in nature.
They do.
It's bound
I
to
don't know
happen
why,
eventually.
but when you said queen, I heard Quinn. That's why I didn't respond.
Really need to change that nickname.
Yeah. I'm so sorry. Liz, just tell me the last sentence you said, because I thought you were talking to Quinn.
Core said, "A copper for your thoughts."
She just looks at him and she says, I wish there was something I could think of, but I'm at a loss.
Core kind of rolls his eyes. But not even
She
a
just
quip.
Not this time around. Just strange about those dreams, you know?
So what, you want to continue the therapy session, Blue?
I'm not your therapist.
Uh-huh. Core
Well, if
just
you-
kind of gives like a level gaze.
I'm just trying to snap some sense into somebody that I'm hoping will have my back when we're fighting these hags. You talk about how you're going to die by the end of this. Or does
Cold
that leave
enough
the
to
rest of
do it.
us?
I don't know. Depends on how long this is.
It wouldn't hurt you to look at the positive every once in a while, and that's coming from me.
I'm 2'9". unlovable, almost friendless, and the butt of every short joke in the city. Everything I touch turns to mud. And what else? Got terrible fashion sense.
I kind of like the hat though. Looks nice.
I guess I'm not the only one with bad taste in the car.
Almost friendless still means you have friends. And it's not the quantity that matters. Kind of looks at Candace.
I am about another statement away from almost taking offense.
I'm pretty sure that those that care about you don't want you to keep beating yourself up over everything that happens.
Do you care?
She says nothing.
Can't keep putting people on the spot like that, Corey. It's not polite.
What do you call the last 20 minutes that I've had?
Word.
To be fair, we didn't put you in that spotlight.
Okay, listen. Don't be the pot calling the kettle black. I asked you a question. Don't deflect. If you don't want me to deflect, then at least show me that you're not going to either, okay?
Okay, Core. Enough. It's not fair for you to throw a tantrum just because you saw a little bit of yourself today. You ask questions, you got answers. Maybe not the ones you wanted, but you got something. Stop throwing everything on everyone else. I can only help you as much as you help yourself. And with that, Estella sits back. Yeah, shrinks back into herself.
Core just kind of adjusts his posture. So how long is this trip supposed to be?
About an hour.
And how long have we been in the cart for?
5 minutes.
Core just says, well, the next 55 minutes are sure going to be, absolutely dandy.
And smash cut to black.
At that point, Yelena's gonna take out her lyre and just begin plucking on the strings.
The saddest song that was ever played in a wagon.
Yeah. Have you you know the outro to the original Amazing Hulk show?
Yes.
Yeah. It's
Oh my
just
God.
that.
with the intermittently laced crunch.
Branch. But for better or worse, we are at pretty darn near to our end time. And that seems like a good spot to halt it at, regardless of how much awkward tension there might be crammed into a single carriage right now.
I wanted to propose trying to take a short rest on the way, because I know some of us are pretty beat up.
That is doable.
I've got 7 HP. I've had 7 HP this entire time. That might have been contributing a little bit.
Yeah,
Just a little bit to the stress.
mild internal bleeding, no big deal.
No big deal.
Yeah, but yeah. So yeah, if you guys want to handle that now, you guys can take a short rest over the course between now and the next session. So roll your hit dice, heal up.
There's your
Any short
there's
rest
your
abilities,
Sad,
get them back.
there's your sad song, Dyer.
Thank you.
Anyone that spends hit dice gets 3 extra HP from Song of Rest. You know we'll play.
Bard stuff.
Yes.
Anyway, I made myself cry for D&D. I hope people are happy.
I am. Well,
I'm very
yes.
hang on.
happy.
I think I was maybe too happy about that in my response. But like, really, I am. Because man,
Yeah,
that's but like both you guys and my group yesterday, both you guys are just killing it on the emotional stuff. Great. Like I've had so much good content the last 2 days.
Yay. That's good to hear.
Yeah, it really is. Like I said, people have just been going hard on it. It's been great.
I haven't yet.
So I approve of people suffering. Again, I'm saying that way too happily, but it is what it is.
I mean, with a little character development without some suffering, internal suffering.
I agree.
Okay, I'm spending 3 dice. I get nothing back on a short rest because I'm a rogue, and that's terrible.
But at the same time, you're never super reliant on needing a short or long rest because you're a rogue, so it's not terrible.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. It just depends on if I can really get like my core features off.
Yeah, I mean, if you stab somebody really well, you can do it all the time without needing to rest, and that's cool.
It's pretty good.
I don't get my bardic dice back on a short rest till next level.
So
I don't get any spell slots back at any short rest ever. If that makes you feel better.
no warlocks in this party.
No, unfortunately not.
Anyway, I hope people enjoyed the details of Kor's backstory pertaining to him and his baggage.
I know I sure did.
I saw that head jerk back when I mentioned the decapitation.
Jeez.
It was like, I mean, it's graphic, but it was just like in the moment, just like head rolling up the feet. You're like, oh damn.
I feel so bad for the orphanage guy.
Yeah, the dude's just
I
like,
do too.
excuse me?
Yes,
poor
these brave
orphanage
adventurers. They've come in to help solve this problem of these missing children and hags, and one of them's having a breakdown. Oh god.
Yeah, and the worst part of it is, I actually rolled a history check because the person that Cora is having this breakdown over is, directly related to the same temple that you guys were in. So I rolled a history check to see if he even had like a recall of the incident. He rolled a 1. No idea. Like not even like a mild recollection. Nope, nothing. So this was like, yeah, this dude just having a breakdown over a girl. That's just all it sounded like to him.
The poor guy is like doing the blinking
Kor's
emoji,
angry
trying to figure out what's
with
going
this
on.
faction because he just feels like, cool, she died, and they came back for the body, and that's it. Came back for her fancy full plate.
Gosh.
It's a shame,
my
like,
God.
more details were never explained because, yeah, there's a thing, but we don't know about that thing. So maybe we'll know about that thing later.
Yeah, I mean,
Maybe.
if you need me to like tell you other details, like get into more depth, I guess I could do that for sure.
I mean, anytime you want, you're more than welcome to explore.
Sure, whatever you want.
Whatever you want.
Got him.
Got him. Before this gets too far out of hand with being goofy, that's all we're doing today, folks. Man, I really enjoyed today's session, especially since I got the lean back. You guys had so many great moments that I just like. You guys legitimately like made me laugh and made my sides hurt earlier. It was great. I really love you guys. You guys are wonderful. But that's all we got. So we'll pick up next week ish. We'll see, because Sam's not gonna be here, so we're gonna see what we're gonna do with that. So we'll pick up next week, probably. Otherwise, before I keep rambling and forgetting to do other things, Convergence campaign Friday nights, 7:30 Pacific, whatever the new time zone. It's Pacific time, 7:30. I don't know what the fancy, unimportant daylight savings time change is. It's all a myth. It's fake. Otherwise, yeah, Fridays game, awesome. Thursdays, shout out to Jakeford, who DMs the game I play in. On the Cracked DM channel. If you go to my schedule, there's a link in there. And I play there every Thursday, so go check that out. Otherwise, next week we'll see you there, hopefully. And as always, make good choices.
Be good people, and to clarify,
Yeah.
we're all good with each other. No out of character drama here.